Today I'd like to talk about the interval. So interval means the distance between the notes. So whenever you're trying to ascertain the interval, you make sure that which terms that we use for each different interval. So there are largely 8 intervals: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Okay, so there are 4 intervals that we use the term perfect instead of measure, which are first, fourth, fifth, and then the eighth. So these are the intervals that we use the term perfect. All right, and then the rest of them could be either major or minor, depends on the distance between the notes. Okay, so that's what we're gonna find out today. And also I need to go through some terms that we use to indicate the quality of intervals. So we're starting from major. When you raise the note by semitone from major, that becomes augmented. Starting from major, when you're trying to lower the interval by semitone, we use the term minor. From minor interval, you're trying to lower the note by semitone, that becomes diminished. We're starting from perfect now. When you're trying to raise this note by semitone from perfect interval, it becomes augmented. When you're trying to lower the perfect interval by semitone, that becomes diminished. So these are the terms that we use for the quality of the interval. So now we're trying to identify the interval, starting from the first one. First of all, you have to ascertain the number and then the quality. So let's look at the first bar for now. Okay. So now you see you have to do the number first. So F to A. So what is the number of the interval of F and A? The third. Okay, so you write the number first, all right? And then you're trying to figure out the quality. So you always need to go through the major scale of the lowest note, F major. What is the key signature of F major? B flat. So do you need a flat next to A? No, A is the third note of F major, so that becomes major third. Let's look at the next one. So now let's do the number first. So G, A, B, C. So G. Okay, so that's the fourth interval, right? And then is a C fourth note of G major scale? Yes, G major has got only one sharp, which is F sharp, and so you don't need any sharp next to C. So the C is the fourth note of G major scale, right? But we're using the term perfect for fourth interval, so we write perfect as a quality of the interval. Let's move on to the next one. This is basically the same thing that we did. All right, so the F major has got only one flat, so you don't need an example for C, right? And then the C is the fifth note of F, so you write down the number first. And then we already found out that the C is the fifth note of F major, so that is perfect. All right, so fifth interval, we're using the term perfect. Okay, so now let's go through this one. This is from A to 8, which is the octave, the eighth, right? And then it looks like the eighth note has been raised by semitone. So when you raise the perfect interval by semitone, we use the term augmented. So A to A. A is the eighth note, right? But that has a sharp, which means it has been raised by semitone. So we're using the term augmented because they raise the perfect interval by semitone, so it becomes augmented. So this interval is augmented eighth. All right, so now let's move on to the next one, A up to G. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that is the seventh interval. So now we have to figure out the quality. So there's a shortcut to figure out the interval, the quality of the seventh. If the highest note is one semitone away from an octave, that is the major seven. If the highest note is 2 semitones away from octave, it's minor seventh. So that's a shortcut. Or you can go through the major scale again. So is this note seventh note of A major scale? Yes. A major's got 3 sharp, F, C, G. All right, and then so you need sharp next to G, but that is already sharp there. So that is the seventh note of A. Okay. All right. Alright, so now we're trying to figure out the interval between F and E flat. You can go through the major scale of F major, or you can just do the shortcut. So if the highest note is 2 semitones away from octave, it's minor 7. Or you can also go through the major scale of the F. What is the key signature of F major? One flat. Do you need a flat on E? No, you don't need it, but it has been lowered by semitone. So that is, how you know, it's a -7. How about from G to A? G to A is a major second because the G major is only one sharp, which is F sharp, so you don't need any sharp for A. So the A is the second note of G major, so that's my major second. And let's look at this one. So let's do the number first. F, G, A, B, which is the fourth. All right, so it has to be perfect fourth. All right. If the fourth note is the fourth note of F major scale, but it looks like there is a double flat, which means the fourth note of F major has been lowered by semitone. So what interval is it when we lower the perfect interval by semitone? Becomes diminished. So that becomes diminished fourth.